With the 2018 NBA draft just a month away and the draft lottery a few days ago, I'm here to bring you guys my 2018 NBA draft predictions. My name is Josh, and in this video I teamed up with Benjamin to bring you this amazing visual collab. Link to his channel in the description. With the first overall pick, I have the Phoenix Suns selecting Luka Doncic. The biggest holes the Phoenix Suns have in their roster are at the point guard position and at the center position. With Elfrid Payton being a restricted free agent, who knows what team might try to overpay him. Luka Doncic is a 6'8" point guard, point forward in the NBA. And the Phoenix Suns have recently hired Luka Doncic's 2017 Eurobasketball head coach, where they won a title in Slovenia. If they don't pick Luka Doncic, a good backup or second option would be Deandre Ayton, who's fighting for that #1 overall pick as well. Check out Benjamin's YouTube video about Luka Doncic if you want to know more about him and why he isn't a bust. At number 2, I have the Sacramento Kings picking Deandre Ayton. Obviously, if Deandre Ayton doesn't go #1, he's going second. Luka Doncic and Deandre Ayton are very interchangeable when it comes to being selected 1 or 2, considering both Sacramento Kings and Phoenix Suns need these type of players. Deandre Ayton's built like a machine and he'll fit perfectly with any NBA team. In Arizona, he was able to average a double-double, putting up 20 points and 11 rebounds, unfortunately getting knocked out in the first round of March Madness. Although the Sacramento Kings don't necessarily need a center, it's drafting the best available player. If he isn't there, a good second option would be Luka Doncic to fill out that small forward role they desperately need as well. With the third overall pick, I have the Atlanta Hawks selecting Jaren Jackson Jr. The Atlanta Hawks aren't going to be good next year. Their best player is Dennis Schroeder, and he's recently sat down with management saying he wants to be traded to a team like the Indiana Pacers or the Milwaukee Bucks so he can have a playoff chance. So why not draft one of the youngest players in this year's draft and hope he's able to develop into something? He didn't have a great year with Michigan State, so out of all the players, I think he may be the highest bust potential just because he didn't do much in college. But teams may also look at him and say he may have one of the highest ceilings in this draft. Can be a good piece to add besides John Collins for the future. Can stretch the floor a little bit, averaging 10 points, 5 rebounds, and most impressively, 3 blocks. A second option at the third overall pick can be a guy like Trae Young. I feel like the Atlanta Hawks just might be desperate enough to pull it off and try to get their arena filled because, fans aren't showing up to see Atlanta Hawks games. They're showing up for the Migos halftime performance. With the fourth overall pick, I have the Memphis Grizzlies selecting Marvin Bagley. It kind of sucks for the Memphis Grizzlies right now, considering they were supposed to have that 1 or 2 pick in the NBA draft, but they fell out of the top 3 and now are at number 4, so they better hope a player like Marvin Bagley is there still.
Everybody's essentially tradable on this team except for Mike Conley and Marc Gasol, but we'll see. I honestly don't think the Memphis Grizzlies are going to want to get rid of those 2 players. They'll stick it out for 1 more year. If you look at that power forward slot, Ivan Rabb, Jarrell Martin, JaMychal Green, these are very average role players in the NBA, and they're having to play major minutes. He was able to average a double-double at Duke, 21 points, 11 rebounds, space the floor a little bit. If Bagley isn't here at that 4th overall pick, a good second option would be a guy like Michael Porter. Kind of risky this high, but once upon a time he was the projected #1 overall pick and can definitely fill out the team needs at that small forward and power forward spot. At number 5, I have the Dallas Mavericks selecting Mohamed Bamba. Played for Texas this college season, and UT is not that far away from Dallas, so this would be a perfect fit and a perfect replacement for Nerlens Noel, who management seems to have lost complete faith in. At 7 feet tall, he could block some shots, shoot some threes. His potential is through the roof, and I'd be surprised if he is still here with the 5th overall pick. So the Dallas Mavericks definitely going to be lucky if he falls. Averaged a double-double with Texas last season, 12 points per game, 10 rebounds per game, 3 blocks, and more importantly, a song named after him by Shaq West. A second option once again would be a guy like Michael Porter. He's projected to go anywhere from top 5, is even falling out of the top 5 now, so we'll have to wait and see. At the number 6 overall pick, I have the Orlando Magic selecting Trae Young. Trae Young is a point guard. The Magic don't have a point guard. They traded Elfrid Payton away because he couldn't shoot, and Trae Young can definitely fix that problem because he can't shoot. I don't know if you know. Best available point guard in my opinion. Can sell some tickets for the Orlando Magic. A lot of people are going to be wanting to see this guy fail. The Magic really don't have high expectations this upcoming season, so whatever he's able to do and produce for the Magic, good on him. He averaged 27 points per game, which is absolutely insane. 3 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 teams in a row. I feel like a good second option would be drafting a guy like Michael Porter if Trae Young isn't available. At number 7, this is going to be a really interesting pick depending on who's available at this time. But I have the Bulls selecting Michael Porter Jr. The roster spots that desperately are needed for the Bulls is being a small forward and a center. Michael Porter Jr. could definitely slide right in, fit with Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, and Lauri Markkanen. That's a nice young squad and a promising team for the future. He even recently said he believes he's the best player in this current NBA draft. A lot of players will probably say that, but if he truly is the best player in this draft, the Bulls got to steal if he falls all the way to 7. Hopefully injuries don't get the better of him in his NBA career, but a second option would be a guy like Wendell Carter to go alongside Lauri Markkanen. At number 8, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers selecting Collin Sexton. If they even keep their pick. The Cavs, I don't know if the Cavs would want to keep a rookie on a LeBron James-led team. It really depends on if LeBron James stays or goes. From past experience, look at Anthony Bennett and Andrew Wiggins. Traded as soon as LeBron got there. Cleveland's biggest holes in their roster are at that point guard position, at that shooting guard position, and at that center position. Essentially, they got a full roster that's kind of old, and maybe if LeBron actually wants to play with the rookie, they'll keep this pick, which I think they should. They've been kind of missing a score-first point guard ever since the Kyrie Irving trade went down, and Sexton kind of fits that mold. He's a score-first point guard. He's not going to get you any amount of crazy assists, but hey, he'll let LeBron James do his thing for his team. Average 19 points per game, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. A second option here would be a guy like Wendell Carter to replace Tristan Thompson. With the 9th overall pick, I have the New York Knicks selecting Wendell Carter. A lot of things wrong with this Knicks team since the Carmelo Anthony trade, but it's a step in the right direction, I guess. Signing of David Fizdale was the right move, but unfortunately they've also lost Kristaps Porzingis last season with a torn ACL, so who knows whenever he's coming back and if he comes back this season. They have a lot of holes in their roster, and right now the only big man they have under contract that's healthy is Joakim Noah. So why not add a little bit of insurance at that power forward and center spot with Wendell Carter? He could play alongside Porzingis, and he could play at that power forward spot when Porzingis is injured still. He almost averaged a double-double last season with Duke, playing alongside Marvin Bagley. Just like a lot of these bigs in this draft can stretch the floor a little bit, averaged 13 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 blocks. A second option for the Knicks would be a guy like Mikkel Bridges, a nice glue guy for the future. With the 10th overall pick, I have the Philadelphia 76ers selecting Mikkel Bridges. He gets to stay in Philly for a little longer. Although Robert Covington has an amazing contract, one of the best in the NBA, Mikkel Bridges could become a replacement for him and be in that starting rotation. This Sixers has a lot of young talent, and if Mikkel Bridges slips all the way to 10, which is kind of hard to predict if he will, considering he had the national championship game under his belt, that just really adds more fuel to the fire to trust the process in Philly, and they're going to be taking over the Eastern Conference along with the Boston Celtics real soon. Average 17 points, 5 rebounds, and a steal and a half per game. A lot of people are comparing him to Kawhi Leonard. A second option here would be if Mikkel Bridges is already taken, which he just might, and if Wendell Carter falls all the way to 10, they need to back up big to go with the 3 rotations of Dario Saric and Joel Embiid. With the 11th overall pick, I have the Charlotte Hornets selecting Miles Bridges. The Hornets are in the exact same position as they were in last year with the 11th overall pick. They had a guy in Malik Monk fall out of the top 10 and right into their laps, and when he got playing time, he actually looked decent. Miles Bridges may be in the same situation as Malik Monk was last year, falls out of the top 10, and the Charlotte Hornets pick him up, because the Charlotte Hornets definitely don't have a small forward for the future. Nick Batum is in it. Mike Kidd-Gilchrist is in it. Plus, he could also play that power forward role as well. Crazy athletic, not the best three-point shooter, but he averaged 17 points per game last season with Michigan State, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists. A second option would be a guy like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Kemba Walker's future isn't certain. He's on an expiring contract. Who knows if he'll be traded or not? We'll have to wait and see. Moving on to the 12th overall pick, the Clippers have 2 back-to-back picks, so it really doesn't matter who's picked 12th and who picks 13th. If they keep these picks, they're both going to be Clippers. So I have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander going 12th overall. Last year, the Clippers had a lot of point guard problems with Milos going down for injury, Patrick Beverley going out with injury. They didn't have a true point guard after that Chris Paul trade. He's a 6'6" point guard who raised his stock with Kentucky last year, averaging 14 points per game, 4 rebounds, 5 assists.
He's a good insurance policy for the Clippers in case they don't bring back Avery Bradley, which I'm assuming they won't. The next pick is the 13th pick, and the Clippers select fellow Kentucky teammate Kevin Knox. I want this to happen. Realistically, it probably won't happen. Kevin Knox, a very raw prospect, but he could fill out the small forward and power forward spot, be a backup to Tobias Harris, or play alongside of him. He's 6'9", averaged 15 points per game, 5 rebounds. If the Clippers end up drafting these two Kentucky teammates, they both have a lot of height to them, so the Clippers could end up playing a lot of different lineups with them in it and create some mismatches for the other team. Another option at drafting the 12th or 13th pick would be a guy like Robert Williams, just in case Deandre Jordan leaves. I personally feel that the Clippers will draft at least one of these said players. I hope for both of them, but realistically, for sure one. And with the final pick of the lottery, I have the Denver Nuggets selecting at 14, Zaire Smith. Personally, I'd hope he's able to fall to the San Antonio Spurs. I feel like he's a perfect replacement for a guy like Danny Green, but he just might be too talented to fall that far. And the Denver Nuggets might not be bringing back Will Barton or Wilson Chandler, so he could fit the mold of the young core that they have going on over there with Gary Harris and Jamal Murray. Averaged 11 points per game last season, 5 rebounds, and was a huge part of the Texas Tech success last year they had in March Madness. With that said, these are my 2018 NBA Draft Lottery predictions. Let me know yours in the comment section below. Be sure to leave a like on this video if you did enjoy. It really took a long time to make, so I'd hope you do. And check out some of these other videos on screen and support the homie Benjamin who helped make this video possible. Subscribe to both of us if you like the content. Thank you for watching.